there's another property and method mentioned in the book that allows you to change the contents of an element or something by them. So there's the outer HTML, right? We've done inner HTML. The outer HTML actually replaces the tags as well. So it's the entire element and its contents that are changed. So here, if we try this out, what we see here is that we're getting an element. Now notice that this has been done by tags name. So this is getting a container of elements, right? It's getting all the elements that have the H1s, right? So it gets all of them. And in this case, there's just one of them. And then it's referring to it with an array index, right? Because it's a container, even though it's just a container of one, it's a container. And then, so then you can use the array index. So it uses 0 to access it. So here it gets that element, and that's this H1 element. And then what it does is it changes the outer HTML. Now notice here again, they've used this pattern where they've declared a variable, and then they've gotten the element and stored that element in the variable. And then they use that variable to call this property. So the element dot outer HTML. And now what does it say? We want you to change it, all of it, to H3. So right now it's an H1. And what outer does is it replaces all the content plus the element tags itself. So now when it changes, what does it do? It changed the content. You change the entire header element and its content. And it also changed the tags to H3 tags. And so you see that change. Another one is, oops, that is the outer HTML, is the insertAdjacentHTML. Now notice this is a method. It has parentheses here and it expects parameters. And what this allows us to do is change things by the element. Now it can be either, notice that the first parameter is the position. So where do you want to insert? And notice that it's inserting. So it's not just setting the property, it's actually inserting something into it rather than replacing. With the other three, we've actually replaced content and in case tags. So, but here what we're inserting, so the rest remains, everything remains, and then this gets inserted at a certain location. And there are 4 options to where these can be inserted. So after begin would insert it right after the opening tag, and before end would insert it right before the closing tag. So it's going to be inside the tag in either case, but either right after the opening or just before the closing tag. Now after end means after the closing tag. So you can actually add something after the element. You can add a different element after this element. Or before begin is before the opening tag. And so it actually puts it in before that opening tag. So let's see how this one works. So here we're getting the element by ID. So it's getting a single one, my H2. And right there it is. So it's getting that element. Now it's saying insert after the end. So that's going to be after the closing tag, my new paragraph. Right? So it's going to be right after there. It's going to insert this paragraph. So let's go see what happens. Right? It's my header right here. And then it's going to click. And it added my new paragraph right after it. So 2 more ways to change the content and or elements of a web page.